The Sprinters Classic, as it's commonly called, Gent Wevelgem, typically favours the fast finishers. But they have to work hard for it. Like all good Belgian classics, it features cobbles, and just to mix things up a bit, a couple of ascents of the Kemmelberg. And that's before you even factor in the weather. Sep Vanmarcke is Lotto NL Jumbo's big hope this year. The 26-year-old lives for the cobbled classics, and having ridden the E3 Harelbeke on Friday as a warm-up, he's hoping to spoil the sprinters' day.
There's one day in between, so I think that's enough to have recovery, and I think 80% of the peloton did the same, and so we fight with the same weapons. I prefer nice weather, but for this race it's better to have some rain and wind.
Most people wouldn't even put their bins out in such foul weather, but for the 248 riders at the start in Dens, there was a World Tour bike race to tackle. 7 foolhardy riders went away early, including Albert Timmer of Giant Alpecin, Alex Dowsett of Movistar and Pavel Brut of Tinkoff Saxo. Despite the strong headwinds, the escapees forged a healthy lead of over 9 minutes. Behind them, many were spectacularly buffeted around by the wind, with gusts as high as 90 kilometres an hour. The early efforts of a breakaway came to nothing. Eventually, a more select group of 25 riders forged ahead, including Friday's E3 winner Geraint Thomas, Milan-San Remo runner-up Alexander Kristoff, Lotto Soudal's Jurgen Roelants and Tinkoff Saxo's Peter Sagan, not forgetting Vanmarcke. Roelants went on a brave solo effort, attacking at the bottom of the Kemmelberg with a daunting 80 kilometres of the race remaining. His lead stretched, and behind him the chase blew apart, while Thomas was literally blown off. Amazingly, he was able to remount and rejoin. And so on to the leg-sapping Kemmelberg for the last time, as Roelants' legs began to give out.
A lot of tired legs out there. A long, tough, attritional race. Little stretch, leg stretch there for Terpstra on the left-hand side as Luca Paolini has a little think about making a move and thinks better of it. They were quickly onto his tail. But this is what we can expect now. Cat and mouse, they've got plenty of time in terms of the fact that the peloton aren't interested. They're way behind. And now Paolini does make a move. Luca Paolini striking out. Thomas the first to react. De Bussera on his wheel. And Luca Paolini, a stage winner in the Giro, a stage winner in the Vuelta, at 38 years of age, puts his cards on the table and makes the bid for victory. Inside the final 6 kilometres, will the wind blow him home and blow him over the line in first place? So it's Paolini trying to hold off Terpstra and Geraint Thomas, with De Bussera trying to close the gap. Sep Vanmarcke looks as if he's struggling a bit here. He's now slipping behind Stijn Vandenberg. Inside the last kilometre, he can almost see the finishing line. Into Wevelgem he comes. The crowd have waited a long time. It's not a big gap between Paolini and the two chasers, but it looks like it's going to be big enough. And Paolini, a winner of a stage of the Vuelta back in 2006, a winner of his home Giro d'Italia 2 years ago, and a winner of Het Nieuwsblad in 2013 as well, is going to add another big victory to his palmares here in the autumn of his career. Luca Paolini, he had to hang in there on the Kemmelberg the last time up. He lost a bit of ground, the gap opened up, but he dug in deep, he got back with the leaders. He got a second wind, and in the end it was more than enough. Wind being the appropriate word today, as he's blown towards the finishing line in Wevelgem. And the 77th edition of this famous classic race goes the way of Luca Paolini.
Paolini pointing to his head and his heart. But for Lotto NL Jumbo, some time to reflect on what might have been before refocusing on the big one this weekend, Flanders.
Sep loved this weather, and he was dreaming about Gent Wevelgem, especially when there was a lot of wind, very much wind, and the rain. And he was dreaming of a final of 6-5 riders, and that it was a fight from man to man. And he got his fight. He was in the top 6, but on the end, with 15 kilometers to go, when Geraint Thomas attacked, he was dropped. Yeah, he was finished at that moment. He was really empty. and he was suffering to the finish line.
There was so much wind today. At one point I thought, this is crazy. What are we doing here on the bike? I mean, there were guys blown off the bike into ditches and into, you know, the side of the road, and it was really crazy. Sep is really one guy that you know, he loads up every time that he doesn't get what he wants, so he comes back stronger the next time. And I mean, I hope that we as a team do the same, and we see that he does it. So you know, we pick up this atmosphere to do the same and come back next week and be stronger.